Good morning, grade 4 gamers. How are you today? Today we will complete our lesson. What is the water cycle? What is the water cycle? Okay. Learning objectives. Learning objectives. What is it, the learning objectives? I will know how water moves through the water cycle, and I will understand the role of the sun as energy. Before I start, I want to show you here a video about the steps of the water cycle. In this video.
Our topic for today is water cycle. The sun heats up the water from oceans, lakes, and rivers, and water changes into water vapor by the process of evaporation. Plants also lose water in the form of water vapor from their leaves into the air by the process of transpiration. As the water vapor rises up into the air,
second step
it
we call
starts
it
cooling down
condensation.
and forms
So the first
tiny
step
water
evaporation.
droplets.
The second
These
step
water droplets
condensation.
come together to form clouds.
All the water
This
droplets come
process is
together.
called condensation. When the clouds start getting heavy and cannot hold the water droplets anymore,
What will happen?
they fall back
Snow,
to the earth
rain,
in
or
the
hail
form
will
of
fall
rain,
down.
hail, or snow. This process is called precipitation. Some of the water that falls on the earth seeps into the ground. This water is available to us in the form of groundwater. The remaining water falls back into oceans,
It's called collection,
lakes,
or we call it
rivers,
storage.
and seas. This process is called collection. Then the sun starts heating up this water once again. This circulation of water is called water cycle.
Okay. Now let's complete our lesson again. Okay. Now here the steps of the evaporation, the first one. The evaporation, the water change from what to what? From liquid to gas. What we call this gas? All of you, right? Water vapor. Now what is it, the second step? Look at the pointer here. Condensation. Condensation. Water vapor, as I told you, cools and change into droplets of liquid water. Water droplets and ice crystals gather in the air, forming clouds. All the water droplets and ice crystals gather together, as you see in the video, and forming the clouds. Precipitation. The water droplets and ice crystals combine and become large. Eventually, they become a heavy that gravity pulls them to earth. This is, we call it precipitation. What is the meaning of a precipitation? Is any form of water that falls to earth. The last step is storage. Precipitation falls into water bodies and onto land. Water that falls on land may soak into the ground and collect as groundwater, as you see in the video. Some water runs off land and collects in rain, lakes, and ocean. And ocean. Please underline where is the water will collect into groundwater, rivers, lakes, and okay. Now, water cycle and weather. You watch the local weather reports. Will the weather be cloudy? Will there be rain? The answer to this question depends partially on the water cycle. Now, all of you, please underline on page 275. Weather is the result of how water, air, and temperature interact. What is the meaning of weather? Is the result of how water, air, and temperature interact. For example, the temperature of air in the atmosphere affects the type of precipitation that falls. Water falls as rain. The water falls as rain when the air temperature is above the freezing point. The freezing point is above zero. Okay, the freezing point's under zero. If the air near Earth's surface is colder than air higher up. If the air near the Earth's surface is colder than the air higher up, rain may freeze as it falls. What will fall from the clouds if it's under the freeze split? Is rain that has frozen in its way to Earth. Now, snow may form when the air in the atmosphere is very, very cold. Snow forms when water vapor changes directly into ice crystals. Now, the other kind of precipitation, hail, the last one. Hail can also develop at freezing temperatures. Hail forms when drops of water in clouds freeze. The drops of water in clouds will freeze and are coated with multiple layers of ice. So again, the snow may form when the air in the atmosphere is very cold. Hail can also develop at the freezing temperature. Now, who can read for us question number 4? Challenge. Suppose hail falls on a warm day. What can you infer about the air temperature high in atmosphere? The answer is the air high in the atmosphere is below freezing. So the air high in the atmosphere is below freezing. Now look at the picture down. Now I will put it for you. Draw an X on the type of weather you would expect if there was more evaporation than precipitation long over time. You see here? A thunderstorm can happen when warm, moist air rises quickly into much cooler air. Long periods of rainfall or heavy storms can cause flooding. A drought is a long time of dryness with little or no precipitation. All of you put X in this slide. Put X in this slide. Here there is more evaporation. Do you know why? Because here the sun heats the water here, so there is more evaporation and little precipitation. The water cycle, steps of water cycle: evaporation. What comes after evaporation? Condensation, precipitation, storage. Again, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, storage. Now the water cycle, weather and climate. Weather is the result of how water, air, and temperature interact. You see? Now, water cycle and climate. Climate is the pattern of weather, but not now for many in a place over many years. Some places have wet climate and some places have a dry climate. Now, for example, places near the ocean often receive a lot of precipitation. Now, all of you, please here, read question number 6. Look here at the temperate rain forest. This is the temperate rain forests. Infer, temperate rain forests can receive more than 250 centimeters, 100 inches of rain in a year. Tell why you think this forest receives so much rain. Because this forest grow near the ocean, water evaporates from the ocean and then travel over land, where it falls as precipitation. Now, quote, how does water move through the water cycle? Water evaporates from Earth's surface, then forming water vapor. Water vapor in the air cools and change into droplets of liquid water. Now, what happened for the water droplets? It will form clouds and fall, the water droplets in clouds fall as precipitation. Now, why is the sun important to the water cycle? Because the sun causes water to evaporate and rises into the air as water vapor. Okay, thank you, my dear students, and don't forget to see the video in the Pearson account.